Good morning, good evening, whatever. What time is it? I don't know. Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome, 9:47 p.m., November 5th. Remember the 5th of November, 2025. I am sorry for my tardiness. Again, when I scheduled this, I put 9:30. I scheduled it, at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And thinking I'm gonna have plenty of time. I'll schedule at 9:30. I'll probably get it done at 8. We just got the kids down. As Mark said, he goes, I picture him running around all over the place. Something like that. Yeah, it's a zoo. One day we'll miss it, right? But anyway, thanks for hanging in there. Yeah, we're good. Thanks for everybody that worried that the Matrix might have gotten me or something. Yeah, I'm good. But always check out. If I don't come on and if you don't hear from me in 24 hours, my brakes work because we have to get our cars checked in North Carolina to get them registered. So everything has to check out good. So just know it doesn't, everything works. So let's get right to this. Anyways, the only real solution to digital ID. I listened to this morning working out today, and a very good podcast. Corbett interviews, I can't remember the guy's name, but you can watch this on many different platforms, YouTube, Rumble, all that jazz. But he has a 30-page, this guy does, here he is right here to the right, a 30-page document right here on life under digital ID, a global analysis with solutions. Very well done, good read, well worth your time. Again, everything is already in the show notes. This guy also has ways to shop for things that are less trackable in a sense, laptops, tablets, phones, etc. He also mentioned that he's going to have a Black Friday sale going on. Here's all the show notes, everything that was going on about it. He runs the site Take Back Our Tech, TBOT, does a Substack for it too. So just a little idea of what it looks like. Digital ID in North America is his latest, number 16, his first one. The show, Apple scans your photos, big beautiful bill, resurgence of free phones, Meta's content AI abused by governments is 10th one. So a lot of information on here. Again, solid stuff for you to look at with digital ID, because as James even said it in here, and you noticed it with me, you can't swing a dead cat and not hit a story about digital ID. Every day there's something about digital ID in there. Here is from, this was the other day, 2 days ago. Christ the Redeemer statue is illuminated in a bright blue glow to honor COP30, COP30 climate summit, with a ceremony featuring a photo of Pope Leo blessing the giant ice cube with a jar of holy melt water. If you don't know what he's talking about, the thing on top, there's the illumination of the Christ Redeemer statue. If you don't see what you're talking about, let me see if I can stop it. That jar on top is apparently the holy melt water jar. Somebody made a photo of Leo blessing. Well, again, anybody could make a photo. Somebody framed the photo of Leo blessing the ice cube. Good night, everybody. Someone else take over. I'm going to go hit the. If you don't laugh, you cry. Okay, who's going to make the jokes? Or who's going to do the practical joke? I want everyone to do this for Christmas. Go frame a photo of Leo blessing the ice, frame it, and send it to your friend. Send it to a friend of yours for Christmas. Specifically somebody that thinks we're just losing our minds on things, and that doesn't like the whole Leo blessing the ice thing. Send it to somebody you know is just going to make them laugh. That's upset. Yeah, trolling type deal. I got some friends of mine that I want to do that to. Like, love you, been thinking of you. Here's a frame photo of the Pope blessing the ice cube. I kind of think that'd be hysterical. Anyways, Motorist yells, Allah. I can't. I'm just imagining all the people I could send a Leo, a framed Leo to. Allahu Akbar after plowing into pedestrians on French Atlantic Island. I'm crying more than Kirk's wife does in a talk show in an interview. Sorry. That was bad. Sky News reports that a man in his mid-30s carried out multiple deliberate vehicle ramming attacks on pedestrians and cyclists on Wednesday morning somewhere on a French island off the Atlantic island. 2 people are in intensive care following a driver knocking down several people on the French island. I can't read your comments. I'll go back to start laughing again. Air traffic controllers warn of tipping point as U.S. government shutdown drags on. I think we're at the 38th glorious day. And, if you're traveling, it might not be glorious. That's why I don't travel. For many travelers, the nation's airspace was a scary place to be on Halloween. The FAA was forced to delay flights across the United States because of staffing shortages at dozens of air traffic control facilities, making for one of the most difficult days to fly since the government shutdown began 5 weeks ago. FAA reducing air traffic by 10% across 40 high-volume markets during government shutdown. Again, this could go on to Christmas. Can you imagine the Thanksgiving Day travels or the Christmas traveling? Ooh, Mama Mia, you might want to take the bus. Trump may become the face of economic discontent a year after such worries helped him win big. And again, during the first reign, the Rona scam was coming in. The economy tanking during that. They used the sniffles to bail themselves out in a sense. Pope Leo offers his strongest criticism of DJT yet. What did Pope Leo do? Let's see. Deep reflection on how migrants are treated in the United States, where he said many people were deeply affected by the controversial policy of mass deportation, and some of the strongest criticism to date of once and future King President DJT's administration. The first ever U.S.-born Pope also warned that the U.S. bombing of Venezuelan ships suspected of carrying drugs risked increasing tensions in the region. Yeah, also water is wet. Blessed water is really wet. Emerging to address the bank of TV cameras outside his papal retreat in Castel Gandolfo and offering to answer one or two questions. Leo XIV said that there were people who have lived in these United States for years and years, never causing problems, who have been deeply affected by the hardline policy on migration. Speaking English, blah, 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 warned how. I was struck by how direct his reference was because he obviously talking about the ICE or roundups. Catholic historian Austin Iveray told the BBC it was very strong initially, blah, 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 inhuman. Yes, I get it because a lot of people are upset about that whole thing that he's straight down the line. Mm-hmm. I would certainly invite the authorities to allow pastoral workers to attend the needs of the people. I think that with violence, we won't win. Talking about targeting ships and killing crew members. Yeah. Defend the peace. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Again, nobody's upset about deporting people. Obama did it. It's how they're doing it is my problem. And I mentioned that throwing people in a burrito or waiting at school to round kids up, or using the fish for their families, or just going to Lowe's, busting through windows. Hey, if you don't believe me, I've gotten all that. I've talked about that. I have the evidence of it. They've 180 citizens have been arrested. One guy twice. Vets. So it's how they're doing it. U.S. seeks UN approval for an international enforcement force to deploy to Gaza. That sounds fantastic, and I'm being sarcastic. The U.S. has circulated a draft resolution with several UN Security Council members that would establish the international force in Gaza that would have a mandate of at least 2 years. We kind of knew that. It was kind of part of that little game plan. Axios reported on Monday. The U.S. official, 8 U.S. officials speaking to Axios said the ISF would be an enforcement force and not a peacekeeping force. Oh, that's good. Well, that sounds fun. A resolution would give the U.S. and other participating countries the authority to govern Gaza and be responsible for security in the Strip through the end of year 2027, with the possibility of extending the mission, also known as reconstruction in Gaza. That's what happened in the South. They had people come in, Northerners come in and ran the South. Put them in, and what they had massive starvation, a lot of death, and they didn't even have a say in their own government. Christianity under attack. Ukrainian Nazi military Azov, the Azov Battalion, brutally beating worshipers and priests inside Orthodox Christian churches across the Ukraine. And if you don't know, they remember the Zelensky shut down a lot of the churches in Ukraine. Mostly theirs are in the Orthodox section. There's Ukrainians in full communion. I know a parish here is Ukrainian. We'll go to a lot. They're in union with Rome, Byzantine, Eastern Ukrainian. There's a Ukrainian diocese all up in the eastern coast, in quite a few dioceses. Their diocese is from like Florida all the way up to Massachusetts. There might be like 3 parishes in the state of North Carolina, 1 or 2 in South Carolina. I didn't know this guy did stuff news. Gotta go. Thanks, RC, man. Didn't know this guy did this type of news. Glad I went to the live column. Yeah, man. Thanks for coming by. I used not to do this live, and then I started doing it live because I'll admit, laziness. It was because I didn't want to go in, download everything, re-upload it. Just like, all right, let me just hit the live, done, put it all up in one spot and go. So technically I started doing the live start purely because it was laziness. The New York Times reports today that Trump is weighing multiple options for attacking Venezuela, including and not limiting to bombing military targets, sending special op forces to kill or capture Maduro, spending a much larger force to capture and hold airfields and oil fields. Obviously, because got to get that oil. And here's the link for it. He archived it. Who did that? Just in case you think he was just making it up. The New York Times. I think I have that listed up here. Trump weighs options and risks for attacks on Venezuela. Speaking of Dave, let me go to his site for the War Pigs edition of the program. We already mentioned that. U.S. Gerald Ford leaves Mediterranean bound for Venezuela. U.S. bombs 17th alleged drug boat in Latin America. Last I looked, we were at 8. We bombed 9 during the World Series. Hamas hands over body as IDF strikes Gaza. That must be what they're upset about before. U.S. asking Israel to allow foreign journalists to enter Gaza. Be careful, all the journalists, because Israel will kill you. No Jewish terrorist. MK sponsoring bill to execute Palestinians. Again, we've mentioned that yesterday. Israeli attacks on southern Lebanon continue. Iraqi prime minister. Militias can be dismantled once U.S.-led coalition leaves. Yemen inevitably headed toward new round against Israel. The Houthi. Hezek visits the DMZ. Praises South Korea. U.S. Issues new North Korea sanctions. Pressures UNSC to follow. And, of course, Dick Cheney, architect of endless war and incredible war criminal, died at 84. Pray for his eternal soul. The Mandemi effect. New York City's millionaires flee as socialists sparge suburban bidding wars. Mandemi shakes up the New York City's mayor race. Wealthy residents are stampeding to the suburbs. A luxury market frenzy now dubbed the Mandemi effect. That's funny how everyone acts like this guy's the first socialist ever to run any kind of government. Texas governor threatens New Yorkers fleeing the state after Mandemi wins elections. Freshly installed New York City. We're going to hear that a lot today, huh? Mayor Mandemi's successful campaign has sent shockwaves across the amber waves of fuel in recent weeks. They've even, it seems, reached all the way down to Texas. Governor Greg Zionist Abbott, a close ally of once and future King Donald Trump, and major Zionist, made clear in a post on X that anyone from the Big Apple eyeing up the Lone Star State as an escape route would have to pay for the privilege. He posted online, "I will impose a 100% tariff on anyone moving to Texas from New York City." New York City. Legal experts were quick to point out that people cannot be taxed like imported goods. Oh, I need to put 100% tax. There should be flashing red lights. Steve Bannon on Mandemi's win. More than a few Republicans are celebrating Mandemi's victory, seeing the 34-year-old Democrat socialist as a political gift and an albatross for the Democrat Party. Steve Bannon is not one of them. The former White House chief strategist has long preached the idea that the populism of the engine of modern politics. He sees Mandemi's election as mayor of New York City. New York City, as proof of its stay in power and a sign of the growing anti-establishment force on the left that Republicans would be foolish to ignore, because that's what they claim to have done with once and future King President DJT. Tonight should be a wake-up call to the populist nationalist movement under President Trump. Isn't that what they did? He said in the interview with Politico magazine just after midnight on Wednesday. These are very serious people, and they need to be addressed seriously. He impressed about his Mandemi campaign's ability to turn out low propensity voters. This is kind of the Trump model, although he branded Mandemi a neo-Marxist rather than a populist. He is eager to have Trump and his administration battle Mandemi in the days ahead. Very Lincolnite of him to say that, because I mean, it's a mayor of a city in a state. Let's check out anyone left who isn't a Zionist at this point. Actually, you want me to say something not is kind of controversial? Mandemi's not a Zionist, and I got a clip on that. That's probably why he won. And they never forget. Loose brings up the never forget thing that's crossing all over the place right now. I don't buy into the original, the approved narrative, anyways, of the never forget, because there's plenty of evidence saying it's an inside job. Israel was behind it, all that. I mean, Bibi praised, love that there was that 9/11 actually happened and all that, because it was good, quote by him, good for Israel. And yeah, I don't believe in the official narrative that you were told to come up with. Hence, if you look at Corbett report, type of 9/11, you're going to have 170 hours worth of evidence, like the heist that happened, where the gold at, or the people saying that the towers were coming down tomorrow, or the pentagram saying that they're having an audit on September 10th, and the next day that office gets hit. And according to the narrative, the plane came from the north, crossed over the general's offices, did a corkscrew, which this guy couldn't fly a Cessna plane, did a corkscrew dive. They hit the office perfectly. And everyone that's tried to recreate that, they say the only way they can recreate it is if they turn off the reality check in the flight simulators. So, yeah. Yeah, you're right. They found a passport when the guy comes over. Oh, look, I got a fair catch. Out of the inferno, a mint condition passport falls in the hand of a cop. So yeah, I don't buy into the never forget thing anyways. That's just the cheerleaders pushing that thing, because who knows how this guy's even going to be. Again, most politicians, most leaders are socialists. Bernie's the only one that's honest in his socialism and says he is a socialist. All the other guys say they're not, but do socialist things. They're all socialist in a sense. Again, you look at the platform, the 10 platform pillars of communism. We check off all the boxes. The socialist presidential party of 1926 or 1928, and the communist presidential platform the same year quit running in the 20s. Because, quote, the GOP and Democrats are doing it for us. they didn't have to waste any money doing it when the major parties were already doing it. So it's team party politics at this point to say, oh, look at him, he's a socialist. They all are. Remember this? I'll play this. This is from a couple months ago. Here it is.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? Left to right, Ms. Adams.
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
Mr. Cuomo?
Given the hostility and the anti-Semitism that has been shown in New York, I would go to Israel.
Mr. Tilson, where would you go?
Yeah, I'd make my 4th trip to Israel, followed by my 5th trip to Ukraine, 2 of our greatest allies fighting on the front lines of the global war on terror.
Mr. Mamdani?
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel as mayor?
I will be.
Wrong answer. You're running for New York City mayor. You're not allowed to talk about fixing taking care of New York City.
Doing as the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples or at their homes or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not
as a Jewish state?
Notice.
As a state with equal rights.
He won't
Not as a
say it
Jewish
has a
state.
right to exist as a Jewish state. Be very
And
clear.
his answer was no, he won't visit Israel.
I said that.
That's what he was trying to say.
No. Unlike
No,
you, I
you
answer.
never-
Unlike
you
you, I
never
answer
said
questions
no.
very
Okay.
directly.
All right.
My goal would be to take my first trip to Israel. My wife's life work in this area means a lot to our family, and it could coincide with my young son Miles' bar mitzvah, if you'd like to have his bar mitzvah.
Okay.
I mean, that's why he. I mean, again, that's probably why he won. He was talking about New York. He didn't care about all that other stuff. I mean, I'm not saying he's a great pick in the draft or anything like that. Cuomo's a Zionist. All those guys are Zionists. I mean, you're running for New York City mayor, and the first thing you talked about was, I'm going to Israel. Why? Catch a Yankee game. Go to the Giants game. Catch a Knicks game. Be the face of New York. Why in the world do you want to go to? Why is Israel? Yeah. It's be good for my bar mitzvah. Give me a break. But yeah, I mean, that's what, and Adam's on to something. America's done with Israel. America's done with Zionism. And even to just say New Yorkers are done with Zionists. Again, the whole idea of why Kirk was probably taken out. You can't start talking against most favored nation like that, man. Here's Laura Ingraham. The soul of the Democrat Party belongs to the radical left now. AOC, Mandemi, J. Jones, Omar Fatah, whatever. A communist, a socialist, and a man with a murder fetish. This is who they become. Again, when I was in Denver, Colorado, was it 2018? They elected a gay governor, a tranny in the state house, a couple of blue hairs, literally blue hair, in the state house seats. They've been doing this for a while. My problem is, all right, you don't like these guys? Where were the Catholics at? Ain't no Catholic in Virginia that could have ran for the AG, couldn't run for governor. No Catholic in New Jersey, no Catholic in New York City, no Catholic in New York City. Cuomo, okay, he's apparently got. He also didn't have a problem killing everyone's grandma and lying to everyone about it too, and is a major Zionist, just like Greg Abbott, major Zionist. Just like most of these guys have to go out and put their hands against the wall and swear allegiance to the wall. We don't have any Catholics involved that can get in this place, get in these things. And again, like I said before, I don't live in Virginia. That's not my problem. I don't live in Minnesota. That ain't my problem. Wherever the Minnesota mayor or whatever the Somali guy or whatever it was, Omar's place, don't live there either. Jay Jones, that's on Virginia's people. If you look at the election in Virginia, this section down here in the southeast was mostly all blue. The rest was kind of red. So again, it goes into the idea of states are too big, and most states are enslaved to the big cities. So you had Virginia Beach, Richmond. Was it Norfolk? That's not what it. Who else was it? I can't remember. And where the whole section of southeast side went mainly all blue. Virginia needs to break up. That whole section of Southeast should be its own state, and Virginia, the other side, be whatever you want to call it. How do you think Kentucky came to be? Virginia used to be that whole strip, and then it got too big, so they split it up. Kentucky over here, Virginia over here. Same thing with Tennessee. North Carolina and Tennessee was right here, split right here. It got too big. Tennessee over here, North Carolina over here. There's no law in the Ten Commandments that says there has to be 50 states in North Carolina or Virginia or Tennessee must be this state by this and have this much here. You can split this thing up 15 different ways to Friday. Speaking of which, here's the one thing about it. All these guys online, all these talking heads, wall-to-wall coverage on Mandemi, okay? Ain't none of them talking about this. Trump, who endorsed Cuomo, they, again, Cuomo. Who's Cuomo? Oh, yeah. He just got done apologizing for killing everybody during the scandemic. But, oh, no, we got to, please, I apologize for killing all you. Please elect me. Really? I'm surprised I got any vote for that. Anybody voted for him. But anyway, Trump, who endorsed Cuomo, just invited, we talked about this yesterday, the founder of the Syrian Al-Qaeda affiliate to these United States. So the guy that most of the guys our age was shooting up after, remember, never forget 9/11, all that stuff. You talk about never forget. Where's the never forgetters on this? This guy's coming to the White House for lunch on the 15th, I think it is. Ain't nobody cares. Ain't nobody bringing it up. You see Laura talking about? Nope. Steve Beck talking about that? Nope. Steve Bannon, where you at, dude? Jack Posselt, where you at? None of the cheerleaders bringing up. A guy from Al Qaeda is coming in, who was it, like I said yesterday, Betrayus was saying there 2 months ago, hey man, how you sleeping? You doing good? How's the wife and kids? Whoa, time out. And what's his face with Judge Knapp's show? He was talking to him because Judge is going berserk, going, wait a minute, this guy's going to get off a plane and Marines are going to salute the guy. And Judge goes, do they not know who he is? And his guest goes, they might not know. Anyway, I think it's just incredible hypocrisy. But oh yeah, we're upset about Mandemi, but we're going to bring in an Al Qaeda guy to wine and dine him. Here's James Lee. Say what you will, but New Yorkers love Mandemi. The result reflects the enthusiasm. Ultimately, Americans feel the system is broken and want change, whatever that might be. And again, most of the people complaining or upset about this do not live in this New York City area. You got guys in Pennsylvania, Texas. There was a guy, buddy of mine, texted me up saying, yeah, I talked to my dad about it. We don't live anywhere near New York. And he's going, I can't believe I feel sorry for New York. Why? What's the odds of you ever going to New York? 0. What's the odds on you caring about New York? 0. Why are you upset about who governs New York? You weren't upset about, what's his face? Adams. You think, is Adams an Austrian economic guy? No. Is Cuomo an Austrian economic guy? No. Just throwing that. If we want to go socialist on everyone on there, tell me who's the Austria. Yeah. Not saying the libertarian is the only way to go. I'm not a libertarian. I tried running for the Libertarian Party back in 2010, and they didn't like me for my stance on abortion and gay marriage. And that was before I really came back into the church. But it's just funny that everyone's a socialist that you don't like, but none of the people you like are free market capitalists. They're not. They say they're capitalists, but now they either get in bed with big government and get in a fascist part of the idea, crony capitalism, socialism, light socialism. I mean, there's stuff that Trump has been doing that's pure socialist, but no one cares because it's got a MAGA label on it. So when anybody says, gets upset about, this is socialism, they're just throwing stuff out because it's okay if their team does it. As Dave DeCamp goes, Democrat Abigail Spanberger wins the Virginia governor's race, becoming the first woman to lead the state. He goes, she's CIA. And he goes, oh yeah, her campaign ads were all about how she was a CIA officer. I don't get how that got people to vote for her. Let's see. As it says, the deep state also lives in Northern Virginia. I wish they could just be merged with DC and leave the rest of us alone. So I didn't know Dave lives in Virginia, but yeah, there was. If you ever been to Northern Virginia is just on outskirts of DC, the district criminals. Again, yes, the problem was centralism. I mean, you see it with the Trump thing. We're going to go after Mandemi. Why? He runs New York City, and now he's the mayor of New York City starting January 1st. It's one city. What? Here's Trump on communist Mandemi because Benny Brown-Nose Johnson, who can't bring up the Calcutta dinner coming up, winning the mayor race in New York last night. Quote, "We'll take care of it. We lost a little bit of sovereignty last night in New York. We'll take care of that. Don't worry about that." You know how much power he has on the mayor race? Zero. He has zero say. In a funny way, the mayor has more power than the president. If you look at the powers, all that they can do, America can do anything he wants that doesn't violate whatever's coming out of the state capitol, the state constitution. Governor has major power. President has almost none. He can just do some trade, get some things done, and ask and become the commander in chief during a war. But outside of that, it's really nothing. Where they've usurped a lot of powers. Well, we don't care about that again. Insane difference between U.S. Senator Ted Tel Aviv Cruz and New York City. New York City elected mayor is Mandemi. Meanwhile, Mandemi says that he will work for American people every single day. Ted Tel Aviv's Cruz says he will work for Israel every single day. I'll play it just in case you don't believe me. Share screen, carry the two.
13 years ago, with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate. I've worked every day to do that. I came into Congress 13 years ago with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate. And I've worked every day to do that.
I will wake each morning with a singular purpose: to make this city better for you than it was the day before.
13.
Yeah, I know people are upset about that. I mean, that's what you're looking for in a mayor, is it not? And like, what's this? I mean, I looked up with the guys running for mayor in my area. Like, who's the guy? I mean, how many mayor elections were there yesterday? Probably a couple hundred, few hundred, maybe 1,000. There's only no one cares about one. I hope people that are complaining about it know what happened in their local mayor race. And actually, we had a good one here. A guy from Belmont Abbey won, a local guy that grew up here in the city, and the other guy was a tattooed guy that started a yoga place, and I think he was good on the pride marches and all, but he got blown out of the water. Good, that's what was important. Now, New York City, do not care. I don't live there. Diddy bragging from prison. Trump will pardon me next year. P. Diddy. Yeah. MAGA blame game erupts after Republicans suffer nationwide losses. Again, that happens all the time. Just wait till the next year with the midterms come through. But I mean, you got endless wars going on. We're bombing people. We're having a regime change. What do you think's going to happen? New York is just the start. How Mandemi socialism could triumph across the country. Yeah, again, most of us are a Zionists or socialists. Jacob Free fends off Democratic Socialist challenge to win third term as Minneapolis mayor. Congratulations, Minneapolis. Again, I don't care. I'm just showing this as a way to like, hey, this is making major rounds. And if you don't live in these cities, it really, I mean, do you wake up in the morning on this? Remember yesterday, the plane crash, 3 dead yesterday. Now they're saying 9 dead after UPS plane crash in Louisville. Engine detached during takeoff. I can't imagine. Yeah, I don't know if you've probably seen some of the images already, but there's kind of like the fireball that happened for quite some time afterwards. RFKJ calls for global ban on mercury in vaccines. Great. Thanks be to God if that happens. All countries should remove mercury from jabs following the precedent set by these United States Health Secretary. RFKJ said via a video address during the November 3rd meeting of the Minamata Convention on Mercury in Geneva, Switzerland. Quote, the convention was born from a shred moral conviction that no human being should suffer from exposure to mercury. Article 4 of the convention calls on parties to cut mercury use by phasing out listed mercury added products but in 2010, as the treaty took shape, negotiators made a major exemption. Temurosol containing vaccines were carved out in the regulation. He's referring to a mercury-based preservative used to prevent microbial growth in jabs. And again, if you're wanting to do your own, I'm constantly making more in my medicine cabinet of my own stuff. I got some Japanese. What do I got coming? I got cordyceps coming, so I can make some more. I could make some cordyceps tincture, Japanese honeysuckle root. Put that in. It's great for sniffles and colds and flus type deal. What else did I get? I can't think of the other one. There was another one that was supposed to be seasonal. You can combine it, all three, and I'm going to combine them all three and make separate and combine the all three to make it its own concoction afterwards. But yeah, I hear a lot of guys around getting sick, and everyone here has been totally fine. America's first-time home buyers are disappearing. That's bad news for real estate. That bubble is going to bust. Nude driver was spinning in circles around church parking lots. South Carolina cops say sometimes in South Carolina we have some really weird stories that come out. It's not the first time I've heard of something weird. Multiple church parking lots are located along Nesbitt Avenue in North Charleston. A man is accused of using one for stunt driving while naked. Okay. North Charleston is different from Charleston. It's one of those areas you just don't go to. There's a line of demarcation in Charleston. You get past this parking, like don't cross over. And if you do, it's kind of like in those movies with the whole atmosphere switches and you hear this wind and all that, and tumbleweed come across. That's North Charleston. Solar geoengineering in wrong hands could wreck climate havoc, scientist warns. In other news, water is wet again. Blocking the sun may reduce global heating, but rogue actor could cause drought or more hurricanes. You don't say. You don't say a bad actor, someone in the wrong hands who manipulates the weather could cause something wrong. Surely you just. Venezuela's Maduro, fearing U.S. attack, promotes an app to report suspect behavior. Forced with the prospect of armed conflict with these United States, Venezuela's government seems to be encouraging people to spy on each other by using a revamped mobile application to report suspicious people or activities. The software, called VanApp, Venezuela app, get it, was originally launched by Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in 2022 as a hybrid application integrating a messaging service with a helpline for people to report issues with utility service, such as power outages and water disruptions. Now it's being used as a tool for Venezuelans to inform the government of anything that it might be considered seditious or disloyal. Russia nuclear weapons test on horizon after new put in order. Again, dear Holy Father, I don't know. Can you do the consecration and add Russia in it? Just, again, try it. Just give it a shot. 50-50. If it doesn't work, I'll buy you a milkshake. Here's DJT. We'll stay around a country for 15 years, just bomb the heck out of everyone and make everybody miserable. Nobody knows why we're there. Trump sums up the U.S. foreign policy in 10 seconds, pretty much. And let's get to this day in U.S. history. The Gunpowder plot. Remember the 5th of November, 1605. And if you want to get feisty, I have a 2-hour show that Ryan Grant did on this. I posted it on. If you're a fan of the channel, subscriber, you'll see it in the posts. I posted it a couple hours ago. 2 hours worth. He says he needs to redo it. I thought it was solid enough. But if you want to know a lot of deep inside the gunpowder plot and the fake false flag that it was, check it out. Fantastic interview he did. 2024, Trump wins the presidential election. Why is that on this day? 2013, India launched its first interplanetary spacecraft, the Mars Orbiter, which was unmanned. 1998, the journal Nature published a report that DNA testing had confirmed, still disputed by some because it's a made-up thing, that a member of Jefferson's family had fathered a child with slave Sally Hemings. Again, go to Abigail Institute or check out Brian McClanahan. That whole thing is total bunk. 1940, FDR was elected to an unprecedented third term as the socialist president of these United States. Wait a minute. You can't call him a socialist. But he was. But you can't call him a socialist. Only Mandemi is a socialist. Mandemi, he's the only socialist. FDR was a great human. Yeah, he was a commie. He was a socialist guy, too. I mean, when you get a picture with you and Stalin and your best friend, your BFFs, what do you think? You think you're Austrian? 1930, social critic Sinclair Lewis won the Nobel Prize for Literature, first American to do it. 1914, France and Britain declared war on Turkey, widening the conflict to World War I. 1913, British actress Vivien Leigh, who achieved motion picture immortality by playing two of American literature's most celebrated Southern belles, Scarlett O'Hara and Blanche DuBois, was born in India. 1911, American cowboy actor and singer Roy Rogers, who starred in films and television shows, was born. I didn't know his wife was mostly in his movie, Dale Evans. 1872, Susan B. Anthony, leader of Americans' women's suffrage movement, cast a ballot in the presidential selection. She was later arrested for voting illegally. 1838, Honduras declared its absolute independence, seceding. Beautiful word. Seceding from the United Provinces of Central America. 1556, Mughal power was restored in India following Byron Khan's victory in the Second Battle of Panipat. I know you all were waiting up to wait for that one, that last one, definitely. Anyways, God love you. Have a great rest of the day. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz underneath the show notes. Check out sessifidelium.tv. Get the app. I've updated. I've added 6 more videos to it. All the sister talks are on there. More chant. All the prayers and all the chant are free. Hint, hint. And not hint, hint, that is not free. They're all free. And so if you don't have a membership, you have the app or go to the website. You can click on them any time of the day. It will still play. Check it out. And I got nothing else after that. Anyway, have a great rest of the night. I'll see you tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Thursday. God love you. Take care.